Hello, it's Aelaech, and this will be my guide to one-shotting Banshee 13 with both a 4-man team and a 3-man team using either a Rage or Destruction set. So this will be the 4-man team. For a 4-man team, you need a 3-turn attack buffer, Vivian, Dien. I think Mui also does 3-turn attack buff. I haven't really checked. I use Vivian right now because if you don't have a cleaver who can clear the first wave, you can also use Vivian with her exclusive equipment that gives her 50% combat readiness to clear the remaining half. For a cleaver, I right now have SSB because if she's fast enough, she can go before the first wave, use S3, heal a portion of their health, and then they would attack. SSB will counter, clears the rest of the health. Next, you need a defense breaker, ranges preferably because they can carry Song of Stars, and Song of Stars with defense break increases the amount of damage you can deal very significantly, so the gear requirements lowers a lot. Finally, someone who can nuke the Banshee, Baiken, I believe is the easiest to build because she can do 2 attacks. You don't really need as high gear as someone like Yufine or Specter Tenebria, but there are many different ways to build a 4-man team. Like some people will have Villager as their cleaver because elemental advantage, and built correctly he can clear the first wave by himself. And then some people also have them like Heron or maybe Shadow Rose because Shadow Rose has AoE S3, so you can go S3 first and then she can go S2, and S2 has a defense break. Leo also works as a defense breaker because he's another ranger. He has AoE on S3 and then defense break on S2, and since he's a ranger he can carry Song of Stars. So now let me show you a run with this team. To start off doing this run, I'm gonna leave it off auto in order to kind of explain how this team works.
Are you confident?
So we have Vivian to go first for the attack buff and immunity. Now if you have
Bring it on.
If your Vivian can do enough damage to clear the first wave, you can actually 3-man this team. But as of right now, how this team works, it does need a cleaver to get rid of the first wave. That's why I have SSB here.
This is what you get.
So SSB goes. Now you don't need to have your SSB do as much damage. She can do a lot less because she'll counter and then get rid of the remaining health. Now, the only way this team doesn't work is if Furious doesn't land the defense break and the target debuff. So let's keep going. So then Vivian and SSB will do some chip damage. Okay, that's pretty good that SSB got the target. So then Furious goes to put crit buff onto Baiken. Then he'll S3. So we didn't get the defense break, so we're gonna have to try again. Okay. So then Vivian and SSB will chip down and decrease some of the health of the thing, of the Banshee. Okay. So can we get a defense break? Okay, we got the defense break. So then Baiken goes. Does damage. By the way, this is a guide on how to beat it without the bleeds. So as you saw there, we killed the Banshee before the bleeds were able to detonate. Let me show you the stats. This is my Vivian right now. It's nothing really too special. For the classic of a 4-man team, your Vivian doesn't actually need to be too heavy in attack and stuff. Just a little bit of speed, preferably around 190 so she doesn't outspeed the Banshee, because if your Vivian goes first, the Banshee sometimes heals when she attacks, and so that's kind of damage wasted. So you do want her to be a little bit below 200. Her weapon, helmet, armor, necklace, ring, then boots. For my SSB is the same one from my Wyvern team. So this is her gear, weapon, helmet, armor, necklace, ring, boots. You don't actually need SSB to be this damage dealing because it does work with this type of Bellona, and this Bellona is, the stats aren't actually that amazing. This is her weapon, helmet, armor, necklace, ring, and finally her boot. These are okay stats. And then my Furious, really nothing special. For this, his weapon, helmet, armor, necklace, ring, boots. You only need to focus on effectiveness because you don't really need any speed or anything. The only problem is Song of Stars. You want that as high level as possible. Full Limbo Broken plus 30 is the best because it's a 100% chance. 85 is what I have right now, but if you can get this higher, that would be best. I'll also use Furious for his crit buff on his S2. Because as you can see, my Baiken has 27% crit chance because I didn't really feel like farming A13 enough for good rage set. These are the stats right now, just like 4200 attack, 292 crit damage. Really nothing special. You do want your Baiken as slow as possible though. And that way she doesn't outspeed anyone else. Daydream Joker, of course, to do more damage to the boss. Or weapon. Or helmet. Armor. Necklace, ring, and the boots. With the strat I'm using with Furious for the crit chance buff, really only have to focus on attack and crit damage, which makes gearing much easier and the amount of work you need to do a lot less. With a raid set, you really just need 4200 attack, 290 crit damage, because defense break and target debuff do all the work for you. Show you a run with regular Bellona instead of SSB. Alright. So when using this comp, where using a regular cleaver, if you don't have someone like Vildred or someone who can clear the first wave by itself, you will need your Vivian to actually be decently fast. So she outspeeds them and then can clear the first wave. So you do actually kind of want her to have some damage dealing potential so she can clear the first wave. But I think SSB is better because she can cheat S3s and then S2 and counters. The thing with SSB though is you do need her to be relatively fast, so she does go before the first wave. So we only get defense break, which isn't actually that great because this attack is gonna fail. But if that was a target debuff, okay, so Bleeds got there in the end, but if it was a target debuff, we would have won anyways. That is my main account's Banshee team with 4 people in it and a raid set. Instead of Baiken, you can use Yufine. However, Yufine takes a little bit extra gear because you can only have 1 attack, while Baiken can have 2. That's why I feel like Baiken is better for one-shotting Banshee. However, Baiken is a limited hero. If you don't have her, you can try using Yufine. And now I'll show you my second account's 3-man Banshee team. Okay, now we're on my second account. For a 3-man Banshee team, the main components are Vivian. Now you need Vivian because she has a 3-turn attack buff and built with damage, she can also clear the first wave. Her exclusive equipment gives her 50% combat readiness, so she can actually lap your other 2 units and clear the first wave. Next one is you need is a defense breaker. You could use Furious like I do on my main account and have him just be slower than Vivian and have your Vivian just do a lot of damage. However, with someone like Leo has an AoE on his S3, which will help with dealing damage to the first wave, and then also has a defense break on his S2. Since he's a ranger, he can carry Song of Stars and apply defense break and target debuff. And then finally, your one-shotter Baiken is the best because she can do 2 attack and do a lot of damage to the Banshee. And then finally, for the last spot, you can put anyone here as long as they don't do any damage to the boss and like they just are there to get EXP. Anyone should be fine. Those are the main components of a 3-man Banshee team. And now I'll show you how a 3-man Banshee 13 team will run. So same thing, I'm just gonna not put it on auto, that way I can actually control and show you what I'm doing. Leo's pretty good for a 3-man team because he has an AoE on his S3, so he can help do some damage. And then on his S2, at +4 skill enhance, it's a 100% chance to defense break. Since he's a ranger, he can also carry Song of Stars, so also for the target debuff. Vivian again, for the immunity. Now, she also has exclusive equipment that gives her 50% combat readiness.
Interesting.
So as you can see, she lapped both Leo and the Baiken, and now she can S2 and clear the first wave. So now onto the Banshee. 100% chance to defense break, and he also has Stongo stars. There are two ways this run doesn't work. The first one is if he doesn't land the defense break or the target debuff. The other one is that if Vivian dual attacks with Baiken, which is a pretty low chance, but it's still possible. If Vivian dual attacks with Baiken, the Banshee will have taken too much damage, and then you'd have to start over. Baiken's turn, we S2, do a lot of damage, and then S3, and then kill the Banshee before the bleeds go off. So that was a 3-man team. Now for the stats. This is my Vivian, her weapon, her helmet, her armor, her necklace, her ring, and then finally her boots. Once I get this to reforge, she'll be able to clear the first wave no problem without Leo critting anyone. Currently just running Midnight Blue on her for the extra crit chance because I only have 68% crit chance. 4k attack, 264 crit damage. The speed, you want to be very careful on how you speed tune, because if your Vivian is too slow or your Baiken is too fast, your Baiken could go before your Vivian clears the first wave, which would ruin your run. I spent a lot of time playing around with gear and using a lot of gold to try and fine tune it and get the speed down. Now for my Leo, this is my Leo right now. Weapon, helmet, armor, necklace, ring, boots. I only have a plus 15 Song of Stars, but the higher the better, because the higher the chance to proc. Speed, effectiveness, as you can see I only have 98% effectiveness, so not incredibly high. His imprint's pretty good because it increases attack of your allies. I do have 2 Mola enhances into his S2 to do a little bit more damage. Speed, you don't really need him to be super fast, just at least faster than Vivian is fine. And now for Baiken. So I believe in a previous Guild Wars video I showed off my Baiken. In order to actually make her speed tuned and slow enough to go after Vivian, I had to actually decrease the amount of damage you can deal. This is what my Baiken was like before. 4k attack, 350 crit damage, but as you can see, 126 speed. That is too fast. Preferably, you don't want any speed substats on your Baiken. This gear works out fine, and it still does enough damage. Her weapon, helmet, armor, necklace, ring, and then boots. So I really just think that the Queen Baiken, because she's really just the best one in order to solve all your problems with just one-shotting Banshee, because the gear requirements are just not as high as you really need them to. So 3-man teams, I think they're pretty useful because you can bring fodder and level those up. You kind of don't really have to worry about them.
Here it is.
Though, if you really want to be safe, I just do a 4-man team. That's also a problem where my Leo's too fast and he goes before. So I have to fix that. Okay, this is what I'll be running my Leo at now. Just changing the necklace to this, so it increases the crit chance, it also increases effectiveness. It does lower the speed by 7, but that should be fine. So now I'll show you an actual run with Banshee 13 with Baiken, and it's a 3-man team. Right. So Leo goes, hits everyone.
Destruction.
Then also does a little bit of damage, and then Vivian goes. And then she'll go again. Okay, now into the final boss.
How about this?
So Leo goes, gets both defense and target debuff, which is really nice. Okay, Vivian goes S1, and then Baiken goes, and finishes it off. Yeah, with Yufine, It would almost kill it, but it just wouldn't be able to finish the job, even with like Daydream Joker or Hellcutter, which is truly a shame. So the gear requirements you really need to make Yufine viable for one-shotting Banshee is a lot harder than using Baiken. As a review, so for a 4-man team, you just need one 3-turn attack buffer, something like DN or Vivian, any cleaver that can kill the first wave, Vildred, very nice, or someone who can at least do like half the damage. And if you have Vivian, who's built with some damage and some speed, can finish off the remaining half. Some kind of defense breaker. And then finally, Baiken's best choice, who can one-shot the Banshee. I hope you learned a bit from this guide, and I hope that it kind of gives you inspiration on how to gear your units and how to one-shot Banshee 13. Leave a comment below if you enjoyed, or if you have any questions. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. See ya.